All right. So guys, welcome to this week's market outlook or overview. Okay, and in today's overview, we'll be looking at Euro USD, and I'll be very fast with it so that we can all revert back to our activities and also our charts to see what is happening on the various pairs. But then we want to see what is happening on Euro USD. So I can tell you for the fact that I think Euro USD have been doing what we call buying both top down, taking liquidity up and down, okay, kind of in a range on the H1 and on weekly time frame. So let's go to weekly first. Let's go to the weekly time frame. On weekly, Euro USD is bearish. This is the last structural low that was taken over here on weekly. So this is our structural chalk. Okay, the last low, this is the last high on weekly time frame. This is a high after the structural low was taken. So on weekly, we are bearish, and based on that, we are going to be looking for only selling opportunities on Euro USD. We are going to be looking at selling opportunities on what? Euro USD. Sorry, last high here, please. Structural chop here. All right. Okay, so let's go on. Hope all of you can still hear me loud and clear. I'm still audible. If I'm audible, just type yes in the chat. If I'm still audible, type yes in the chat. If you can still hear me, type yes in the chat. Okay, all right. So let's move on. So here we'll be looking at what? At sell opportunities on what? On Euro USD. So I'm going to be explaining very fast and quickly on the chart so that we can move quickly against time. I don't want to spend much time on this call. Okay, I have some other stuff to do, so we are just going to be very quick. So let's look at the weekly time frame. Okay, so these are the areas I'm looking at for the week. All right, as I said, this the last low and the high, and then I'm looking at price further hot pushing down. But let's look at what is happening immediately or in the immediate or where current price is. So as we can see on the weekly time frame, we have this decisional OB area that price is currently what dealing with. So this is our decisional order flow. Let me put it well. Decisional order flow. Remember, the primary POI or point of interest we are always looking at is the order flow. It is the order flow that we refine into what? Order block. So that is a secondary point of interest. So most of the time, some of you tell me, oh, I marked the OB, but price didn't get to my OB and price reversed. That is because if the order flow is not mitigated before price return, there you have to look at first of all the order flow before refining it into the order block. So if price comes into the order flow and price gives you an indication for a sell, that is if we are in a downtrend, then you can take what? Can take your sell. But if price gives you an indication that is not there for you to take any entry, then you rather wait till price gives you that indication. In that sense, you can now refine that order flow into an order block. But always when we see price move this way, the first thing we look out for is our extreme order flow. And in this case, these are extreme order flow. Okay, these are extreme order flow. And based on that, what are we looking at? We can see that after we look for our extreme, we look for our decisional. Now, this is our inducement that confirmed this low. Okay. Since this low was confirmed, it means that we can now look out for our decisional point of interest. Now, this would have been our point of interest, but it has already been mitigated. This order flow would have been our point of interest. Okay, yeah, but you see, this pullback mitigated that. All right, so that can be our point of interest. It has already been mitigated. This is why we went for this point of interest. The second one here. Why? Because it has, let me delete this guy. Let me draw this one. Because there is an imbalance between this order flow and the pullback and the valid pullback. There is an imbalance between it. So that means that order flow valid for us to take trade from. Now, why are we looking at selling from here? Because as you can see, price grab liquidity, and then price is pushing down. And if we look at the reverse, this is the last order flow before price tap into our decisional OD. And also within this order flow, we have this refined extreme order flow. That is the refined one that has not been mitigated and has an imbalance in between it. All right. Now, when we see this overall, weekly is bearish. So I'll be expecting price to at least sell into this area, and we see some it should be like this. See some inducement. Okay, sorry, chalk, and then we see some inducement. Price takes the inducement, mitigates an order block or order flow here, and then we push up. All right, so that is what I'll be looking out for. All right, sorry. That is what I'll be looking. Let me delete these drawings. Okay. All right. So this is what I'll be looking out for. So this week I'll still be looking to long-term sell on Euro USD. Okay. And that will be depending on also fundamental. Okay, so fundamental also can affect whatsoever you are doing. So not just the price action, but you should also be looking at the news. Okay, that is the fundamental, right? So now, if we are buying from this area, we'll be targeting our extreme order flow here in the long term. All right, unless this low is taken out, and then that means we will continue to look for sells. All right, okay. So that is it about the weekly time frame. Overall, we are looking at sell. Sorry, this should be break of structure. I said change of character. BOS. Sorry, because we are still in the downtrend. All right. I said it should be break of structure. Sorry, wrong labeling. This wrong labeling, so that should change. I don't know. Seems like my internet is very slow. that should have taken an effect, but I've changed it. Before I post the chart, I'll change the labeling, so don't worry. Before I post the chart on the page, I'll change the labeling for you guys. So let's go to the daily time frame, and let's look at what is happening on the daily time frame. Okay. Okay, so daily. Yeah, so I think my internet is a bit slow, so the chart is taking time to load. Guys, sorry about that. I have a very unstable network in my location, so I think the network took me out. Let's continue, please. All right. Okay. So as I was saying, with respect to the weekly, we are still in a downtrend. So daily is also in a downtrend, and I'm expecting price to tap into this decisional OB in terms of the internal structure. I'm looking at internal structure here. In a long round on H1, I'm expecting if this guy closes, the next candle closes below this current daily candle, then I'm expecting a single candle order block on the daily time frame, and based on that, we can make decision for a sell to either the decisional OB or the extreme OB. But in a long run, I'm looking at price getting to the, I'm expecting price to react to the decisional OB, but I'm expecting price to what? To get to this guy, and then we pump up to what? To the extreme OB before what? Crashing down. Okay, that is what I'm expecting on the daily time frame in a long round. But let's look at what price does. Remember, time determines what price does. Okay, so you must always put time into consideration when dealing with what? With price. I've always been telling you this during our various lectures that we had, that you should always consider time in all that you do. Okay. All right. I think somebody's microphone is unmuted. Kindly mute yourselves for me, please. All right, let's continue. So over here, as I said, I'm still expecting a shift to the down before we start buying on Euro USD. So that also being a downtrend for me. And let's go to H1 on Euro USD. So now on H1, this is what I was explaining when I started the meeting, that Euro USD has been buying and selling at the same time. So as you can see price sweeping the high, sweeping the low, sweeping the high, and sweeping the low as well. Now, last week, price swept here, this high, okay, closed a little body above that. All right, so price is currently moving in a downtrend, but because a little body has been closed above this, that should be a structural break. I put a sweep there for a reason. That is to tell me that price is doing sweeps above and below. So is one order flow to the other, one liquidity area to the other, one POI to the other. That is how price behaves. Okay, price moves from one liquidity point to the other, from one order flow to the other, and from one POI area to to the other. Price always behaves this way. Okay, So price is not doing anything new. Here we are still expecting what? Sell. But before the sell, if price sweeps below this area, this current low, then we are looking for what? The buy to the upside. And if price sweeps the high here, then we sell again. And all this we need, not, you are not just selling or just buying. Remember, we have entry confirmations to look at before buying or selling. All right, you don't just buy, you don't just sell, but you always look at what? Entry confirmation. And we talk about what? Single candle, that is SUB. We talk about what? Flip entry models. We talk about what? Flip with what? Inducement. We talk about chalk without inducement and what? Chalk with inducement entry models. So we have different models that you can use to what? To make entry. Though I told you guys always that my best entry model is a single candle order block model, because it is just like magic. Okay. And then also keep in mind that always the decisional OBs are 50-50 zones. Okay, and the extreme OBs are the high probability of zones that we make entries from. So anytime I'm making entries from inducement sweeps of the lows and the highs, and also what from decisional OBs, it is what is 50-50. But when we get the entries from what our extreme OBs, then we look to what to go in the hard way, because it is what it is always high probability areas that we make entries from. It doesn't mean that you not make losses from there. You can make losses, but those are always valid losses. So this is what we are looking at on what? On H1. Currently price have not swept this low again. Let me increase it for you guys to see. So you know that price, as you can see, price have not swept this low again. But I'm expecting that as market opens, price will sweep the low here and then give us an entry point in 5 minutes. As I said, H1 analysis goes with 5 minutes of entry, H4 analysis goes with 15 minutes entry, and 15-minute analysis goes with 1 minute entry. For the meantime, I advise you guys use H1 5 minutes for your analysis and entries. But those of you who have mastered from last year, you can continue using the M15 and the 1 minute for your analysis and entries. Okay, so let's look at the 5 minutes quickly. Let me show you something. So with the 5 minutes, you can see from last week that we swept the 1 hour high here. We had a liquidity grab. So 5 minutes, this is a break of structure on 5 minutes. And then, you know, after break of structure, you see, there was what? There was this valid pullback here. So this becomes inducement to confirm our high on 5 minutes. But then because we are sweeping a higher time frames high, this becomes our chalk. Okay, this area becomes our chalk. The first sweep was here. So this was our chalk, and our entry was here based on this single candle order block here, this guy. This single candle order block. All right, but this is a failed trade, a valid failed trade. Okay, why? Because the criteria was what? Was met. If criteria was not met, that one is fine, but criteria was met. Okay, so that is one thing you need to take note of. But then we had another opportunity. We had another grab of liquidity here on 5 minutes, and we have a change of character just here. After that, we always look out for an opportunity. Okay, we have this guy break this low. That's why we had that change of character, and we have the pullback. This little candle swept the high here, and this candle closes below it. So that becomes a single candle order block entry here for us. If you remember, our and our stop loss is just above this guy here. Okay, so this third candle, let's see if it mitigated. I want to draw a line here. This is our where the so I want to be sure it mitigated. So yeah, so it went back because the third candle, which is this, didn't mitigate. So that entry was missed. So let's see, and price pushed down. This entry here was missed. Let me lock that. Price pushed down, and we had this sweep here again, and a close below it, giving us another single candle. So here, this is the one that was mitigated. This single candle here was mitigated by this. After taking this, it reversed back. So in this case, we had one failed trade here. We have one missed trade here, and this one, the SL, is just above here. And we have one failed trade here, and also the new short came to push it down to our low. Don't forget this, where our final TP is, the other liquidity point. Yeah. Mostly I use the order flow. This is how I take my profit. I'll mostly use the order flow before the liquidity point. So just in case price decide to move with the order flow, after tapping onto the order flow, then I can still be what? My stop loss can still. So this is the order flow here. So I'm taking my profit from here. Okay. So you miss this, you lose this. Okay. This is supposed to be like this. This entry point. So as you can see, we lost that, we missed this, but then, and all of them, the target is the same. Okay, the target is the same, but at the end of the day, we what? Guys, sorry about my network this evening. We are almost done. Okay, so based on that, we can see how this played out. I'm just showing you the entry examples, okay? So with respect to this idea here, we are waiting for the same scenario here, okay? So I'm expecting price to what? To sweep this low, okay? Then give us a chop. We get an inducement, okay? Then if there is an OB over here, depending on what the type of OB, if it is single candle, we don't need what? We don't need an inducement. But if it is normal OB, then that's where you look out for what? Inducement before you make entry. If it's single candle, you just take your entry straight and you target at least this high here. Okay. All right. So that is it for this evening on the weekly outlook on Euro USD. If you have any question, you can mute yourself. We have some minutes left, and then I'll answer your questions.
Good evening, Prof.
Yeah.
Please, the first entry that you said that we missed.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that stock of a thing you talk about there.
You didn't understand? I'm coming. Let me maximize the chart. Yeah, you didn't understand the entry I talked about there.
Yes, yes.
I
When you said that
talking about this one.
after the sweep, it felt
This,
like chalk. No, no. Yes, yes, yes. The missed one, the failed one. The failed one, yes.
This one. Okay.
The failed one, the failed one, the failed one.
This one. Or this one. This
The
one.
failed one. No, the first one, the failed. The one that failed. Yes,
No,
yes, yes. No,
the one that failed.
no, yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let me remove it so that I can explain. Remember, this was the last high, and this guy broke that high. Remember our valid pullback lesson. Okay. Since this pullback
Yes.
is valid pullback, and this guy break above this high by sweeping it, it means that when we break below the low that causes this high to be broken, that gives us what? A change of character. Why? Because this level is H1 high. And I thought that time we sweep a higher time frame high, it's just like a POI, or it's just like a point of interest or an OB. Okay, so on the lower time frame, which is this 5 minutes we are on now, once we see price do something like that and breaks the low, which is this, that gives us what? A change of character. So here becomes
A chalk.
character.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you get it now?
Yes, yes, yes.
And you see this one gave us a single candle order block. So it means we can
Yeah.
So when price reversed over there, we don't need inducement in this case. So when price reversed over the price didn't reverse as we expected. So that particular one failed.
Okay. The sweep of the the sweep on the H1.
Yeah.
That line that you drew, was it the actual line that swept the yes? Was it the actual line that you used to indicate that the lower time frame has swept?
Yes. This is it.
I don't know if you get me.
Yeah, this line. This is the line.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the one I'm talking about. That is what I got to know, that the lower time frame have swept that area. Because this is from the H1 time frame.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, excuse me, Prof.
Yeah, I'm listening.
What if the higher time frame, as they drew this, as the higher time frame swept it, but when you switch on when you switch over to the lower time frame, you find out that it was a candle close.
So if it is a
how should you do such a case?
If it is a candle close, then that means we have a break of structure or a change of what? Character. So in that case, you have to see an inducement before even thinking about selling in the opposite direction or trading in the opposite direction.
Okay, I hope you go. I'm not saying about candle close on a higher time frame. As this is a let's assume that this is a sweep on
you mean a candle close on the lower time frame? So let's assume
yes like
I'm coming just a minute. So
okay.
If I understand you well, let's say for instance this sweep was a candle close. What will we do, right? Like assuming this particular one close above.
Yes.
Yeah, so in that case,
yes.
In that case, we
yes.
need like this. We need price to first create what we call inducement, give it another low before tapping into the zone here. Then that is when we can take a sell. So in a case where there is a candle closure, you wait for inducement. You don't just take the trade. After the chop, you wait for inducement before you make the entry.
Okay. It's clear now.
All right. Mark Pius said, "Sir, please can you do a video on top-down analysis?" All right, I'll try my best. Yeah, I'll try my best. I've done several ones. Even this is the same thing I've done now. Top-down analysis means you look at the market from multiple time frames, which is what we've done. We look at the market from weekly time frame, daily time frame, H1, and now 5 minutes. Okay. Please, any other question?
No, sir. No, sir.
All right. Any other person that has a question? Okay. I think there's a message. Let me check. Okay. All right. If there's no other question, then we end this evening's meeting here. Classes is likely to start around where's the calendar? Let me check. Yeah, classes is likely to start around 20th of this month. That is the 2020, the accurate with 2.0. You start around 20th of this month. Okay. So just take notice of that and start inviting your friends to it. And now I'm using a different broker now for currencies. So I'll be dropping the link to the broker on the page. You guys should sign up and trade there. If you have any issues, let me know, especially if you're having challenges with your verification and all those stuff. Just let me know and I'll reach out to the right people to assist you to quickly do. Because I know most of you, verification is your issue, but we can work on that. So guys, that is all for tonight. That is all for tonight. I'll see you guys again next week, same time. Now the flyer is out, so next week, same time, we will be meeting again for another review of another pair. Meanwhile, I'll drop analysis on this week, I'll drop more analysis on the page for you guys. So take care and I'll see you again next Sunday. Bye-bye.